shall we pray? The second anthem stanza of the old anthem, Prof.
Is it the old or
the old new? Shall we pray?
After you, sir.
Yes.
O God of creation, direct our noble thoughts, guide our leaders right, help our use the truth to know, in love, mercy, and living just as where peace and justice shall reign. Amen. Please, you may be seated. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. Nigeria, here we find ourselves. And the beauty of tonight, I was wondering, Prof, that who are going to be participants tonight? And in my mind's eye, I was wondering, people of my generation, so what are we changing? But today, I'm the happiest person, because we have more younger people that are curious to know how well the journey has been. And we can see them going all around all evening, and they are saying for themselves what the history of this nation has been. So I'm so glad and I'm happy that the age brackets that we found here have been appropriate audience that we desire and that we need. So, on behalf of the Goethe Institute, I think we need to give Goethe Institute a big round of applause. It's a German institute, but it's been so bothered and concerned about the history of Nigeria. And that is why they are collaborating with CRIMMD Museum, the Center for Research, Information Management and Media Museum, to put this together. And what are they saying to us? We are Nigeria. Where do we go from here? A nation that has lost the essence in its history cannot move anywhere. So you need to know where you're coming from to be able to establish where you are and determine where you go from there. And that is where we find ourselves tonight. So this evening is a potpourri of activities, and I know we're not going to bore you. We're going to ensure that you have a night filled with memories, and that you have gone through the history as it is. All over, before we started, you can see evidences of what Nigeria went through. Since we started our journey, even pre-colonial days, that we had currencies, that we had a means of commerce, that we had a means of culture, that we had a means of managing ourselves, that we had means of communication, and also the fact that we had a rich entertainment history. All of those bottles were not for anything, they were for the enjoyment of Nigerians in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, till we find ourselves where we are today. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to say a big thank you to you for coming. Even if it's a public holiday, but you found it here. We are going to start right away, and all we should do actually is to do first and foremost the introduction of our special guests. But we know they are almost here, and they will be here in minutes. So before they come, permit me to invite the CRIMMD Court to just open the floor and allow us to have a good reason to enjoy our holiday. The CRIMMD Court, please, can you please step forward and let's have your opening entertainment. Thank you. The CRIMMD Court.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, great Nigerians. Good evening, great diplomats. Welcome to this great event where you get to witness history unfold itself like never seen before. It is currently 11:59 p.m. according to my time, and it is the 30th of September 1960. Over there, you can see Nnamdi Azikiwe. And over there, you can see Ahmadu Bello alongside Ahmadu Bello. Now, James Robinson will be joining us on stage, who is the Governor General of Nigeria, alongside the Prime Minister. And while they are joining us here, can we put our hands together for the beautiful Williams, who is the composer of the new national anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee. And I have news that Taiwo Akinkunmi won't be able to join us today because he is stuck in Scotland. According to my time, it is 11:59.
They told us Taiwo Akinkunmi traveled. He went to Scotland, but the man is with Baba God now. And do we remember who Taiwo Akinkunmi is? That was the man that designed our national flag. God does not make mistakes. God told us it's time to go back to your past. So for those of us who are hungry that the anthem is changed, I think we need to have a rethink. That we missed the steps at some point, and we need to go back to recalibrate and start from there, so that we can achieve the great nation of our dream. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not time to frown, it's time to smile. So let's look at ourselves and smile and give ourselves a round of applause that we came to change some things. Give yourself a big round of applause. Thank you. I know I'm going to make about 3-4 friends. I've met Nadan. Now I have a friend in Nadan. So I'm looking for more friends. So if you are here tonight and you are not ready to network, I'm not your friend. I'm looking for people who can network with me and we can move forward to build a greater nation together. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we are still waiting for the key men for this occasion this evening. But be that as it may, can we have right in our midst the Director General of CRIMMD, Dr. Ralph James, to give us his opening remarks. Dr. Ralph James, this enigmatic man, this pillar in Nigeria, this man is, I can't describe him, but I know that one day history will be fine on his side. Amen. To say this man has been God is wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Nigerians. Good afternoon, lovers of Nigerians. I don't have a long speech to make because I'm actually lost of speech. But one thing I have to do is to say a very big thank you to the Goethe Institute and the Ford Foundation for reaching out to us, for being part of us, for bringing us out for the world to see the little thing we've been doing in our small corner in a village called Idemo. By October this year, the CRIMMD Museum of Nigerian History will be 10 years. It's the first private history museum in Nigeria. 10 years ago, the idea came to me that, okay, why don't I document Nigerian history, because I have children who are growing up, and I realized that most of my kids didn't know the history. And I also realized that there are certain histories that I was taught in school, that as I was growing up, I get to discover that those histories were not true. So that gingered my interest. I started documenting Nigerian history. When I started it, my focus was to do photography. I wanted to do just photography. And presently, as I talk, I have more than 47,000 photographs telling Nigerian story. But I've moved beyond photograph. I started looking at items, artifacts that can tell the story, not just artworks and cultural things. Little things that probably will not matter to people. For example, why would somebody be collecting bottles? The first time I saw the photograph of the first Schweppes bottle in Nigeria, I told myself, I said, I didn't drink this. I didn't know about this. So if I don't know it and I didn't take it, what will happen to my children? And what will probably happen to my grandchildren when they come? So that is part of what had gingered me. I said, okay, let me start putting things together. Last 2 years, a journalist came to my museum and described it as 10 museums in one. In terms of space, we probably have the smallest museum in Nigeria. In terms of material, we have the largest private history museum in Nigeria. So what we're building towards that someday we're going to get somebody who actually understands what Nigeria is, just like the thing Goethe Institute is doing by reaching out to us, so that we can actually move what we have to a place where you can actually fill the space. I told a friend of mine yesterday while we were trying to assemble this, I said, I went back to my museum and I looked at the museum and I asked myself, the things that we are displaying here, did I not remove them from my museum? Because if you go to my museum, you actually don't see space of the things I removed. So the place is still tight. So there's so many items and little space for you to actually appreciate what we have. So I also want to appreciate the fact that the cohorts and the fellows that work with us were quite understanding. They made my task much more easier. Goethe Institute assigned 10 cohorts to us, or rather they asked us to get 10 cohorts within our community, and we also got a fellow. I don't know if my fellow is here. Is my fellow here, please? Is Mr. Bayo here? Oh, okay, yeah. Mr. Bayo was our fellow for a period of 6 months, and this is what he did. When he came, he said, I want to focus on Nigerian transition to democracy. And I said, that's an interesting topic because somehow I was part of it, probably would I say from a distance. I was working there with Chief Alex Akinyele, who was the chairman of the National Reconciliation Commission. I was a special assistant, and that gave me the privilege to travel with him across the country. And I was actually seeing history. It was happening under the Abacha's government. So Bayo came in and he taxed me a whole lot. I enjoyed the task because I was in the process of helping him put the things he was working together. I was also learning. And my cohorts came. Initially, I had a little challenge with the cohort because it's like most parents didn't understand what we're doing. So the first set of 10 that came, about 5 of them, the parents pulled them out. We had to start begging parents, please let your children come. They're going to learn. They're going to appreciate this at the end of the day. And as I talk today, we actually broke the protocol because we now have 11 cohorts instead of 10. So eventually we got 11, and I think some of them will be talking to tell you part of the things they learned. Let me just say thank you. If you let me here, I'll keep on talking until the MC will come to take the microphone. God bless us.
I'm almost I will just feel it out from you, because if you allow you have 100-year story to tell us. But that's your job, okay? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's appreciate this great man who's given Nigeria a backup. You know, in IT or computer, you say you have a memory, you have a backup, you have cloud. Our government never thought we need all of this. And in its own world, we just felt Nigeria needs this. And it's been able to sustain Nigeria. But the way our country is wired, such people are never appreciated when they are gone. But we pray that this one will not go until it's appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, please let's allow ourselves to go through the intricacies of the beginning. I want to call Dr. Nada to please step forward and give us our remarks. Please, a round of applause for her.
Thank you very much. Thank you, the moderator. Thank you all for coming today. I know it's a public holiday. Maybe you could have also gone to the beach or sit in a nice restaurant or just enjoy the day with your family. But you decided to come here, which us from the Goethe Institute, but also from CRIMMD and the National Museum. Let me first of all thank our host, the National Museum Monicon here in Lagos, and the NCMM for hosting us and making space for another museum. I think this is also something that is not the usual, that one museum makes space for another museum to come in and be in their space. So today we have CRIMMD within the National Museum, which is very beautiful, because otherwise we would have all gone to mainland and visit CRIMMD there, which I highly encourage you to do still. But for today, in terms of space, we just heard from Dr. James that currently the CRIMMD space is a little bit small, let's put it like this. So it would have been difficult to put all these people there today. That's why we decided let's find a bigger space. And luckily the National Museum invited us to come here and do the exhibition here. Let me quickly speak a little bit about what it is all about. What is connecting the dots? What are we doing with, not only with CRIMMD, we are actually working with 6 Nigerian museums in 6 very different places of Nigeria. We just went to Ile-Ife like a month ago, where we worked with the Natural History Museum. We've just been to Kaduna in the north, where we work with the National Museum of Kaduna. After this, we will go to Benin City, where we work with the National Museum there. Then we go to Aba, where we work with the Colonial History Museum. And then, last but not least, we go to Calabar, where we work with the Slave History Museum. So 6 Nigerian museums, all of them are very different. Not all of them are national museums, some of them are also a university, or in the case of CRIMMD, it's a private museum. So for us, museum can really be a lot. And part of the Connecting the Dots project is also to learn together what museums can be. What can a museum be? This morning we had a beautiful learning experience. We went to the museum of the here on Lagos Island, which was a beautiful experience. And then we went to Onikon House, another museum, another experience here on Lagos Island. So it's really worth to explore Nigerian museums in all its diversity, in all its beauty, because there's a lot to see, there's a lot to learn, and this is what Connecting the Dots is about. We learn together, we travel a lot together. Our 6 fellows that are part of this project traveled also to museums, and all of them, they went to places where some of them have never been before. From the east to the north, from the north to the south, from the mid to the east, and yeah, really crisscrossing Nigeria, which is a beautiful experience. And we still have some time to go, which is wonderful. So let me just speak a bit about today and what we are doing here today. So it's the 3rd of our museum conversations. In the museum conversations, we always invite the museum together with a fellow to do something about their work that they did together, and something that means something for them, that is meaningful for the respective museum. So each museum can do whatever they want for a public event. And then the fellow, of course, is also invited to present their research, to present their work in a way that is the right way for them to do. So in Kaduna, for example, we had a drama, we had a performative experience. Today, we have this beautiful exhibition here by our fellow Bio Omoborio. It's getting better, slowly. And of course, outside this beautiful exhibition by CRIMMD. And I want to thank you, Bio, I want to thank Dr. James and the whole team that put that together, the Connecting the Dots team, because it's also an experiment in how to make an exhibition with simple means in a short time, but very, very beautiful and very attractive. Also, as you said, mostly for a younger generation. So this is mostly to bring history to a younger generation, and this is, I think, worked wonderfully. Let me close with some more serious words, because it's Democracy Day, and I was thinking a lot about this, what it means to us, as a Goethe Institute, as a German institution, what it could mean for Nigeria today. What I think is beautiful about today is because we do Democracy Day together here, and we own it and we make it our own. We are not sitting at a don't know, government function or somewhere. We're not watching TV to listen to a speech. We are doing Democracy Day here, and we do it in a way, we fill it with meaning and we fill it with life, and we rethink the concept. What does it mean to us today? What does it mean to you today as Nigerian? But also, I must say, as a German, I'm currently very concerned about democracy in Europe. We just had the European elections. It's disastrous to see how Europe is moving to the right. The election results in Germany and France, it's disastrous, and I really hope we can save democracy and not that we all in 10 or 20 years are, I don't know, somewhere else. So I still hope we can continue to work together, to collaborate together, even if a lot of people in the world right now that don't want that anymore. But I truly hope that this is also a claim, a demand, and a wish for collaboration, working together, learning together, traveling together. Let's open the borders more instead of closing them. And this is my little speech for Democracy Day. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Bayo, how many times did I call you? Bayo. Bayo. You are the problem. If you have given this man this woman a Nigerian name, she will have known how to pronounce it. So today we will do child naming for you. We will give you. Sorry, please, let's have opinion poll. We'll give her one Yoruba name, one Igbo name, one Hausa name. So please, Bayo, you are a retired fellow.
Yes.
Look for the 3 names I will give to her. Baba is ready to baptize her for the child naming. So we will give her the Nigerian name. Prof.
Yes. Yauza.
Because we are talking about cultural integration.
Menene.
So she should have been bothered about names. If she had the names. Names record is very important.
Yes. You know, when the child is born in our culture,
Yes.
the first thing is to give the child water. Because water is life. So as I'm giving her the name, I will give her water to sip. I've just opened it. Just sip the water. So today, Nadel is being given the name Folakemi. Uruguay, Niti, Ikeji, Adaezi. The third one is Jamila. So from now, we'll be referring to her as Folakemi, Adaezi, Jamila, Nadine. You know, the meaning of Folakemi, you say in Yoruba language, is that you've touched me, you touch us with wealth. The wealth of knowledge about our past. And this is a great thing. And that's what the Budget Institute is doing, and we continue to do, is to actually let us understand who we are. For us to understand where we are coming from, so that we know where we are and plan for where we're going to. And for this, yes, it means the first daughter of the king. And when you are the first daughter of the king, you have all the power. You can do whatever you want. So she will continue to do whatever she wants for this country, whatever she wants for her country. Yes. Fantastic. And Jamila is beautiful. Is she not beautiful?
Congratulations, madam. So you are now a true Folakemi, true daughter of Nigeria, and you are now Adaeze, the daughter of the first daughter of the king, and the Jamila. girl. Maybe I don't go start. So ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I would love that we appreciate the very important personalities, special guests that we invited this evening. I've been told reliably that we have the state coordinator of the National Youth Service Corps with us, Mrs. Yetule Badiriwa. Good evening, you welcome, madam. Where are you now? Thank you so much for coming. Sister, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. We also have in our midst one very, very, very key man in Nigeria who does his things in a very quiet way. This evening, he had been penciled down to be chairman of this occasion. But he just told me, he said, no. Yes, I'm a traditionalist, I'm a cultural person, and I have about 4 or 5 titles, but I know there is somebody else who can fit in properly, who owns a museum and who can also add value to this evening. So I'm sitting. So ladies and gentlemen, we have in our midst the chairman of Banklink Africa, Dr. Israel Obiri. Dr. Israel Obiri, good evening, sir. Where are you, sir? Okay, he's here. He's here because I'm feeling he's around. I know he's going to join us very shortly. Also, we're expecting, if you know about culture, you know the culture of Abeokuta. Egba is very, very relevant and strong. So we have the Akpagu culture of Egba land in our midst also. Yes, it's right there, and I'm sure they are both somewhere. They wanted us to get ready and start. So they were working, and we'll introduce them properly. And of course, the people that are behind this thing, my brother, please stand up for recognition. They need to know you. They need to know you. Please, a round of applause for this big man, Brain Bakery, the strong man, Brain Bakery. God bless you. So, it's your show. I'm just an attachment, a conductor. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been told that the children from CRIMMD want to share their experience. Am I right?
Yes.
So, if they are ready, can we please put our hands together for the children from CRIMMD Museum? They want to share their experience with us. Where are they? Oh, great. Oh, my big madam. How do you feel today? What is today?
Today is Democracy Day.
You can see Steve Abbey and his guests. Today is Democracy Day. What is the meaning of Democracy Day?
Democracy Day is the day to celebrate democracy.
Who are those celebrating democracy?
Nigerians.
I love that.
Let's allow. God bless you.
Good evening, everyone, and happy Democracy Day to you all. I want to thank Dr. Waffer and the Queen Library and Museum for giving us this opportunity to be here today. My name is Jacqueline Smith, and I'm from Light of Vincent School. I'm here to share with you my experience from the Queen Library. I'm also here to talk about the Nigerian flag. Please, what is this? Which flag is this for? This is not the Nigerian flag.
Yes.
The Nigerian flag is plain green, white, green. But this flag I am holding has the coat of arms in the middle. Once when Dr. Waffer was here this same day last year, we were holding this flag, and he corrected us that this is not the real Nigerian flag. That the real Nigerian flag is only plain green, white, green. The person who designed the Nigerian flag is Michael Tawa Kinkumi. He was born May 5th, 1536. Michael Tawa Kinkumi designed the flag when he was 23 years old. enrolled in Norwich Technical College. CRIMMD won in the competition whereby they were awarding the best Nigerian flag ever made. The Nigerian flag has two stripes, two green stripes and one white stripe. The green stripes on the Nigerian flag mean the riches of Nigeria, while the white stripe on the Nigerian flag represents peace and unity in the country. Thank you.
If you don't mind, let's give her a standing ovation. Because she spoke about nationalism and the Nigerian flag. The essence, she corrected us that the flag is simply green, white, green without the coat of arms. I'm sure a lot of us don't even know the difference. Some of us have it, just anyhow, they call it mutilation. And you have seen people taken to jail now. I never said it to you. Do you say I did? I said it to one Bobrisky is still in prison. Why? Because it mutilated our currency. So there are things we need to now be conscious about a nation called Nigeria that we've always taken for granted. So please, don't look at any flag with any other inscription beyond the simple colors of green, white, green as the Nigerian flag. It's very important. We must learn to respect our nation, our values, our culture, our ways, and our tradition. They are very, very important. So we need to start. It begins with us. Those of us here in these four corners will take the message back and we can multiply and Nigeria can get better. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, the man who brought all of us here, I've been told is a fellow, and truly is indeed a fellow if you can see all of this. This is no small job. Thorough research. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with my brother, is it Doctor? Professor? Bayo.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you to each and every one of us for making it to this place this evening, a public holiday for that matter. Thank you to the amazing people at Goethe Institute for deeming it fit to do this, because I don't think it's a right on our own part, but a privilege to be part of this. And to all the partners with Goethe Institute, a very big thank you. Most importantly, I would love to thank Dr. James, and I would love him to be in the room. Dr. James. If Dr. James is there, please help me just grab him and bring him in. A big thank you to Dr. James, and I'll continue to thank you later. Also, a big thank you to all of the 6 fellows that were selected to be part of this museum journey. For me, as a person, I say thank you to these guys because they are super brilliant. And in the country where we feel Nigeria is not doing as much as it should be doing, meeting these 5 other individuals with myself made me realize that Nigerians are actually very, very intelligent. Because for the last 6 months, I've related with people that have proven to me that Nigeria has a big future, and the future is us. We are the ones that will make this country better. No matter the level of complaints we keep complaining, we've been complaining this since over 60 years, and nothing has changed. But until we take it upon ourselves to be the solution to the problems we've identified, just like Dr. James has chosen to do with his CRIMMD Museum, Nigeria will not change. We are all sitting in this beautiful room today because of one man's effort. Imagine that effort being duplicated to 1 million people. Out of the over 200 million Nigerians we have, you can imagine the sheer level of transformation that will happen in this country. And I just want you all to give a big round of applause to Dr. James. You might not appreciate what Dr. James is doing until, and I beg of you to visit the CRIMMD Museum. And we might say everything we say here today and you don't still get it. You can't get it because I applied to the Goethe Institute Fellowship. And I know Goethe Institute was asking, why are you applying for this? Like, because for me, I've done over 10 years, 15 years as a photographer. I did 8 years as the official photographer to the president. I've traveled to over 80 countries in the world. I've seen everything. But after leaving government, for me, I felt there was a new hunger in my mind. And that hunger was for me to support. And for 5 years out of the 8 years, what kept ringing in my head is memories. Memories. How are we preserving memories? How are we communicating memories? And how are we translating memories in a way that the people coming after us can actually understand and build a future out of that memory? And that was why, and it came because I was documenting the president. And after a while, I realized that it was as if I was carrying the matter on my head more than the real issue in itself. But I was happy because I asked myself, what took me into photography in the first place? What made me go into photography was because I asked myself that I wanted to preserve today's history for my own unborn children. That was maybe like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So when I got the opportunity to photograph the president, I saw myself not as a political figure. I saw myself as an historian preserving the memory of an administration for 8 years. And I think I did an amazing job doing all of that. But much more than that is, as I then started getting into it, I started asking myself, there's more to be told, more stories to be told, more history to be preserved. And then I did Discover Nigeria, where I traveled all across Nigeria to tell the story, every single state in Nigeria during COVID. And I told the story of Nigeria, and it came up into a book called Discover Nigeria. And then it went ahead to win, get into the Guinness World Record for producing the biggest photo book in the world back then. And then I left government and said, no, I need to take this thing further. And that was how I applied for the Goethe Institute Fellowship. And then I applied and then I was selected and they said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to do Democracy Bus. There's Democracy Bus, yes, because I want to communicate the story of democracy, because I feel we think a lot of people know, but this younger generation don't know nothing about this democracy. And with the advent of coup, counter-coup in different West African nations, then I started asking myself, is there really a future for democracy? Will democracy in itself survive? But before we answer yes or no, is to actually dig back into where are we coming from? Were we prepared for this democracy? And I said, where do I want to do a research? Then I started reading all the 6 museums. And then I saw CRIMMD Museum Lagos. Even me, I said, which one is CRIMMD Museum? I never knew there was anything called CRIMMD Museum. And I grew up 27 years in Lagos. And I didn't know about CRIMMD Museum. So I said, I would want to go to CRIMMD Museum. And then I was lucky, they took some people like Yahuza to Ife from Yobe. He enjoyed it. They took Nimi to Benin, Oriayo to Aba, and took Ifunaya to Kaduna, and then Judith to Calabar. And then I was lucky because I was in Abuja to come to Lagos. And then I thought that was all. And then the first day I was to go to CRIMMD, I was super excited. And then I went through this long journey. I was like, oh my God, is this where they told me I was coming to? Like, where am I going to? But I got into CRIMMD, and I was like, oh my God, this is history. This is the future. And from that first day, Dr. James embraced me, supported me, and I said Democracy Bus. But when I started seeing the things, I was started having dialogue. And he was so patient with me. As the project began to, it was morphing every day, where I was asking myself, and how much? There's a lot of missing history. I found one of my closest friends in school, his father in the magazine, that he was fighting for democracy. I didn't know. But research made me find my friend's father, as part of the people that were fighting for democracy. Why do I say all of this? This you've seen today has been a journey with Dr. James, the team at CRIMMD, in support by Goethe Institute, of me fulfilling a desire in my heart to begin to research memories. This is the beginning of a long time, lifetime assignment for me. And Goethe has inspired with CRIMMD the beginning of a new career. And what is that career? Memories must be preserved. Memories must be communicated. Memories, however we choose to do it. This is CRIMMD. So if you say I'm a big man, thanks to the big man, Dr. James, and I want us to give him a big round of applause, because if he did not invest his 10 years into doing this, I couldn't have done all of this. If he did not invest his sweat and blood, we won't have this room today. I wouldn't even have thought my research on memories could manifest like this. And thank you to all the amazing people. Where's our prof? No, madam, my best friend. She's outside. I just want to say a big thank you to her. Thank you, Moriayo. Thank you everybody for naming. Thank you guys for Yauza. Thank you for calling me and saying bye your alpha. Thank you to everybody that supported, to all the people in Abuja there that made my idea come to life. I just want to say a big thank you. And I'll leave you with this message. I did this because I wanted to... No, sir, you can't see that. We did it together. I did this because I wanted to communicate in a different way to the younger generation, so that in an easier way they can see what and read about this democracy. So we've done this in an interesting way, just to communicate, make it more friendly for the younger generation to read. So if you do take this today, please find a way to pass it to the younger generation. Let them write at the back whatever they think about democracy, and then let them pass it on to another person. Let the journey about memories continue. Let the journey about our narrative as a people continue. The global world are preserving their own narrative. We need to preserve ours, especially for generations yet unborn. This is the beginning of a conversation. And finally, please, there's a sticky note that will be passed to you now. If you ever have a memory of June 12, if you ever have a memory of democracy, please write it down, because the bus is about to move. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Wow. Journeys will start from somewhere. Journeys will take you to somewhere. And when you get to somewhere, you also imagine that you came on a long journey. And that journey has ended you in a good destination. Another round of applause for all of us. I am told that before we move to the special panel, there is a presentation from somebody. Ladies and gentlemen, the more serious and the more merry. So I want to invite the world rapper man, Ajaro David Obaro, to please come forward in this presentation. Ajaro David Obaro, the world rapper man. Doctor, you are the Yoruba man now.
Yes,
You are meeting the world rapper man.
I'm Ajaro David Obaro. He just introduced me. I'm Pokemon. What am I doing? I'm popularly known as the world rapper man, and I'm an ambassador to CRIMMD Library. I'm the only man in the world that runs marathon, long distance race, dressed like this. This rapper is 5 kg weight. This is half of the longest rapper in the world. CRIMMD is too big for us to put inside the box to bring here. So, how many of us have been to CRIMMD Library yet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please, if I can go to the US Embassy to queue for a visa, to go to Disney World, if I can go to the British Embassy to say I want to go visit the museum in London, because I did visit the museum in London before some kind of things started coming to my head. CRIMMD Library is not outside Lagos, it's in Idimu. Some people say it's too far. Take one Saturday. I mean, 5,000 in your pocket, not to transport, to relax anywhere else, and just take a look, visit them. You will not regret going to CRIMMD. Nigerian history is packed in the box there. And I'm not going to say anything. A lot of people have done some donations that you don't see online that are in CRIMMD. If you go there, you will marvel. CRIMMD is looking for space. He said it. somebody here might know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that has a space that is lying fallow. If we can donate to some kind of unusual cause, why can't us donate to something that is documenting our history? So if you're living here today, tell somebody about CRIMMD. And I want to encourage all of us, please, once again, visit CRIMMD Library. I partnered with them some years ago and I'm receiving a lot of partnership. They are housing some of my artifacts. So maybe when you go there, you see some things that you've not seen before. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Sir, I need that thing to happen again. So that I'll tell them the story that I know. This rapper, let it go right again.
No time, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, this reminds me that culture is life. For those who grew up with me in the 60s and 70s, you remember one of the most flamboyant politicians Nigeria ever had. Dr. Postage. This is where your mind will go to.
It's
He had, yes,
20 years.
20 years. How many years are you married?
My world record is 37 years.
37 years of life.
Representing each
Each
state.
year representing each state.
You are improving every year. So how many helpers will help you to carry the hammer?
Well, in 2017, 20 people helped me carry it in Abuja.
Sir?
2017.
How many people?
20 people.
20 people. You pay their transport for Abuja. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, sir, for being a custodian of our rich history. We are moving forward. Now, it's going to be another intellectual discourse, another frank discussion, and we're talking about Nigeria in transition, postage stamps, currencies, and revenues and bottles. That is the theme of this exhibition. So we're going to call another panel to, in like 15-20 minutes, do justice to the theme of today's event. First and foremost, permit me to welcome our chief host, Dr. Ralph James. A round of applause for him. I also would like to invite Mr. Oladi Taye to this support. Mr. Taye is the General Manager in NIPO. I would like to invite Mr. Gospower Eneo. Gospower Eneo. Thank you so much. He's also of NIPO. We would like to invite Mr. Solomon Oshiloye. And of course, okay. So Mr. Solomon Oshiloye, where are you, sir? Good evening and welcome. So, gentlemen, this is your show. We want you to speak around the opportunities, the gains, the pitfalls, what Nigeria stands to benefit from the issue of stamps, decorative stamps, postage stamps in Nigeria, for the sake of the youth that you are seeing sitting before you. Many of them have never seen stamps before. Never. Many of them, can we have them come in? Because me, I use stamps very well in the 80s.
Let me invite them. They'll be asking me questions.
So, the opportunities is yours now. We would like to start with you, Sir Jim. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. Transition as it is proved. There is this adage that says there is nothing is, everything is economic. And it was on this note that we have to appreciate our history and how the postal service has been very, very instrumental. Because like all those who are here, those days when they were writing their love letters to talk, they will normally put issue doxology, just ocean design, and so on and so on. They normally affix postage stamp. And this postage stamp normally have a lot of messages to convey, because according to those of us who are stamp collectors, stamps are a portrait dowry. a miniature encyclopedia, and a living reminder of events. Every aspect of history of Nigeria has been captured by postage stamp. I am even proud to say this last Monday happens to be the 150th anniversary of postage stamp in Nigeria. Similarly, it is also the 150th anniversary of the Universal Postal Union. So when we have these stamps, we are made to understand the fact that stamps are to educate, they are to inform, and for collectors, we relax with these stamps. And this is possible because it aligns us with the youth. Even the youth corpus, we have had stamps that have depicted the National Youth Service at one point in time or later. But like it is normally said of history, history is that subject where it is difficult to begin from the beginning. The history of Nigeria is like the connecting dots, of which each and every one of us is a miniature person to see to the progress of this country. In youth, we run into problems. At old age, problems run into us. When somebody mentioned their Luther during their old age, I remember 1978 at Unilag, we said Ali Mongo. But today, I am also proud to say that Ali that we said Mongo, as at that time, happens to be one of the greatest stamp collectors in the world, not only in Nigeria. That is Dr. Senator Ahmadu Ali,
who now became the chairman of PDP.
Can actually, if you associate yourself with all the stamps that have been depicted there, because there is no aspect of Nigeria history that has not been depicted on these stamps that I'm sure very many of you have gone around to see. You have to also appreciate the fact that Nigeria is a country where the best is difficult to attain, but the worst never happens. On this note, I want to quote both Obafemi Awolowo and Dr. Nnamdi Awolowo said, because all of us that are here, we are trying to find solutions to the problems of Nigeria. And so he said, he has never considered himself as having a monopoly of wisdom. But the problem is, when those in position of rulership and leadership are in clubs, mingling with men of shady character and women of easy virtue, he and people of like minds like you will think of the problems of Nigeria and how to find solutions to them. And finally, according to Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, when he was inaugurated as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he said, to no person, no matter how rich, should we motivate our conscience. To no nation, no matter how powerful, should we engage our independence. On this note, you youths, whether you want to japa or you want to japada, whichever way, Nigeria is a country, though where the best is difficult to attain, but the worst never happens. God bless you.
Don't let me go back to back with my business so that my letter doesn't get lost. I'll come to you. What is philately? And how does it interest the young people of today? Let me ask you a question.
Good evening once again. The question, what is philately? Let me answer it by telling you my story. I tell you my story, then that will define what philately is to you. As a young man in primary school back in 1974, 75, and I was still in the village. Most of the elderly people in the village, when they get letters from their children abroad or in Lagos, they will call on me to come and read the letters for them. I'll go, they will read letters, some of them will cut dry fish or uroko, stockfish, and give me. But at the point I realized that stockfish and the dry fish wasn't my interest. So I started telling them, if I read your letter, can you please dash me the envelope that has the stamp? Because I was seeing varieties of stamps every time I opened somebody's letter to read for them. And that was how I went into the habit of collecting stamps. I never knew then that there was actually a hobby. I never knew there were other people outside who were actually collecting stamps. So I started collecting stamps, then eventually I came to Lagos. The first time I came to Lagos, 1977, that was towards the first 77 period because I wanted to attend it. And I went with my dad my dad was working at the hotel. As we were passing through Marina, I saw General Post Office. I was like, wow! So there's even a post office that's meant for General. So I went there to go and buy stamps. And subsequently in 1985, I finished secondary school and I came to Lagos. Again, I went to the post office to buy stamps. And over the counter, I asked the lady, I said, please, I want to buy old stamps. I don't want to buy current ones. He said, are you a stamp collector? I said, yes. I wasn't sure if I was one anyway, but I said, yes. He said, there's a philatelic club, philatelic bureau behind the post office that is meant for stamp collectors. I was like, are you for real? He said, yes. Now, I think I vanished because I can't remember walking. I found myself at the philatelic bureau. I walked through the door. Inside the hall was filled up with people, and most of them were whites, Europeans. So, and I was just coming from the village, don't forget that. So I saw this lot of people, so I stood there, and somebody walked to me and said, are you a newcomer? I said, yes. He said, are you a stamp collector? I said, yes. Then he went, she turned and announced. He said, there's a new stamp collector in the house. And everybody was like, hey! Even me, I joined them like, hey! So I got the first opportunity of meeting a lot of philatelists who are stamp collectors from different parts of the world, who were in one room buying stamps and selling stamps. And that was the day I started studying about stamps. So for me, it went beyond collecting it as a hobby. And now I've come to learn so much about stamps. That even as a journalist, I've done quite a lot of stories on philately. And I've tried to encourage, presently in the demo, I've set up stamp clubs in about 11 primary schools and 2 secondary schools. Trying to encourage young people to collect stamps. And for the young ones outside, if you're listening to me, because you've been asking me questions about stamps, I want to give you a secret. Instead of you to go and do Yahoo, start collecting stamps today. For the stamp you buy for 1,000 naira today, in the next 10 years, you might be selling it 30,000 or 50,000 or 100,000. There is a Nigerian stamp called Black Penny. For those of you who can go online, you can go online now. Google Black Penny. Can somebody do it and tell me the cost? As of the last time I checked, Black Penny was going for about 7.3 million United States dollars, and it is a Nigerian stamp. Wow. So philately is a big deal. Don't do Yahoo, collect stamps. If you don't make the money today, your children or your grandchildren will make that money out of it. That is the beauty of philately. That's the beauty of stamp collecting. Thank you so much.
Black what?
Black Penny. Black Penny. Black Penny.
Black Penny.
Black Penny, yes. Just Google it and see.
All right, we come to you, Mr. Costa. Are you ready? Sir, are there still stamps in post offices in Nigeria? Are there still post offices in Nigeria? Can our youth still enter a post office and do transactions? What are the usefulness of stamps in Nigeria today?
How much? No, that's called stamp.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here to be part of history today. I must actually thank Dr. Rab for creating this environment.
Goethe Institute, please. And, point of correction, Goethe Institute.
Goethe Institute and Dr. Rab for creating this platform for us to deliberate, especially having to do with postage. So we get that question, the question a lot each time we go out for exhibition, because we exhibit stamps at trade fairs and functions.
Local or international?
Both local and foreign. So people keep asking, does post office exist? But personally, I have always wondered, even educated people will be asking whether post office exists. Before the advent of technology, the post used to be the collecting point for communication. Even in the most advanced countries of the world, with technology, which has gone to, which came from there, that place, they still make use of postage stamps and they still visit the post on regular basis to transact business, one business or the other, either to post letter or to send packages. But how is it that in the Nigerian context, we're introducing this traditional form of letter posts because of technology? You cannot rule out the importance of postage stamp because, just like my neighbor said, postage stamp connects nations, it connects individuals, it connects families. Because when you are fixing a stamp on the letter, you write, the handwriting that has feeling. You are going out your feelings, maybe to a loved one.
With your own pen.
With your own handwriting. You can imagine the kind of feeling that the other person out there won't get while with the letter. So let me shock you about the value of postage stamp. We were once invited to testify in the court in Ottawa about a dispute that had to do with land. We were asked to verify this stamp because we have all the stories of every stamp, all the stamps that are issued we have archives where we keep the stamps, the oldest stamp that you can think of. Sir, the stamp in question had to be stamp that was issued in 1938 and another one 1909. A receipt, a stamp that was produced, a receipt that was issued in 1909. In 1909, then a postage stamp that was issued in 1938 was affixed on the receipt. The owner did not know that the date of issue of that stamp was in 1909. So, when the matter came up in court, the bureau was invited to first. Yes, the road was stopped. Okay, post office verify. We know that you are the issuer of the stamp, and you have the history of the stamp. Tell us when this stamp was issued. Tell us the span of the period of time within which these stamps are used for post or for any transaction. We went into our archives and we found out this. I personally did it. I saw the two stamps because there are two receipts. As I went in, I saw that the stamp that was on that receipt of 1909, the stamp was issued in 1938. These are conflicting. How could you affix a stamp of 1938 on a receipt made up 1909? I was in court. The judge, the counsel, they were asking questions. Sir, how do you come about
the stamps are not going to use because of tech? But like my chief, spoke about like technology that just happen if it's what tells true, because there's, for example, there's NFTs and there's a traditional art, but you also have like very, very significant rules. And you still find that people pay ridiculously large number of figures for actual paintings. So there's still value in tangible design things. So I think the question I would like to ask for throughout is, what opportunities exist for commissioning non-illustrators, just so that we can bridge the gap between this object that feels like, nostalgia, our parents use this thing, so we can get involved in producing, because I don't think there's I've not used a stamp all my life. When I was called on to be on the party, I was like, what am I going to say? Because all the drinks they're sharing, Coca-Cola bottles, I was not born there, I'm not even 30 yet. So he was talking about when he came to Lagos for Festa. This is a story that I heard. So when he said that, I want to be like, what I want to share that is funny into this conversation, but the only thing that gets young people, like I said, to out of using stamp, collecting stamp, I mean, I know now who do their own collect stamp. But yeah, the only way I can get people involved, like me, is if my friend designs a stamp, I will use it. My friend will use it. So somehow, I don't get what I'm trying to explain. So there's like a connection between the thing of the past and the thing of now. Because stamp for me is something my parents use. Junior and say, I'll just send a text on WhatsApp or something. But the thing with stamps, like he said again, is there's this emotional touch that stamps have. So the way I see stamps now is if someone sends me a message on WhatsApp and says, hello Solomon, I want to invite you to this event. It feels like they're talking to me. And if they say, hello everyone, I have an event coming up, it feels like a broadcast message. So the message that speaks to me feels personal. So I feel like the stamp just goes an extra step to say, this is for you. It's from a handwritten note to Junior and say, I'm not sure you answer the question.
Thank you.
Thank
You answered it. You know, in my heart, I was just saying, this generation, if they press one button, the whole world is gone. So there's no sending. You listen to it, it doesn't appeal to me. And it was used in their days, not in my days. But you ended well by saying to us, if for any reason stamps are made and you feel it's communicating to you, it makes sense. That is where we are ending it up. And at this point, I know people may want to ask you people questions. So we'll send the ball. If you have questions for the panel, please go ahead. You told me you wanted to ask a question. Ask a question.
Well, the question is sort of a challenge. It started like this. So my question was largely to him as the person of my prototypers. You were attempting to set a framework for what opportunities exist for staff, for young people to participate in staff collection. But the truth is, like you pointed out, there's no opportunity for that because to the degree I'm aware of, there are no stamps in the world. So I would say, what avenue do you think as a creative person? Because I'm actually very interested in this. I came to this exhibition largely because of my grandfather, who had a stamp collection that I never cared for. But after he passed, I began to search everywhere for it, and I can't find it anymore. So for me, it's still the connection to nostalgia. So let's say, if we want to create a new cultural stamp collection, what entry point actually exists? Not in, I don't know.
Who are you directing the question at? All right.
Figures, monuments, landmarks, things like that. People who drive this game or if you enter their keke, you find whiskey, policy that could easily be stamps. You get people that they could connect with today. So if you cannot get us involved in making these things, you don't want to use it. So I think that's one part to answer. But how can you get us involved in
question, I'd like to give the contributions but then before I am a postman. I'm known as general. I have since retired at 2000, and that's why I'm great. But be that as you see, the service surveys the environment to see and what could be on Postage camp. I mentioned to you, we remember there was a time that push by some of the rights on human right to education, right to this child labor and all the rest of it. Then we asked the youth to design stamps. And the first set of stamps that were designed by the Nigerian youth, they put say no to drug abuse, say no to cultism, education emancipates, and say no to child labor or stuff like that. But you see, technology normally goes hand in hand with whatever happens in the post. Their designs, if are put in the way and manner they have done it may not necessarily have appeal. Whereas the content of what they have put are really appealing to the heterogeneous audience. So we now looked out for somebody who is computer literate as an artist to enhance, using that modern technology to enhance what the children really have done. So we normally look out for what to reflect on postage stamp. And when we realize that letter writing and issuance of postage stamp go hand in hand, we also requested at one point in time or the other that Professor Wale Soyinka should please help encourage the youth on letter writing, because like you have said, the handwritten letters, those days, cursive letters, and those that Yoruba will say, and stuff like that. You see that he now sent a message which we read at 2012 to children during the Children's Day in Abuja that time, to encourage them on the beauty of letters and handwritten letters. But you see, postage stamp, like any other medium of communication, even like the social media you mentioned, there is this aspect in mass communication, selective exposure, what you want to expose yourself to, selective attention, what do you give your attention to, selective perception, what do you perceive from this array of your exposure and attention. Then selective retention. And you find out that worldwide, postage stamp is the only mass medium of communication that immortalizes anything. That's why you can see that of 1874 and so on and so forth. Davido, if by chance, there is an interest on the part of the public and you feel you want to see Davido, then you write to the postal service and you will consider whether or not it justifies to be on the Nigerian postage stamps. Because there are certain criteria we don't issue stamp on politics, on religion, and fraternity. But you find out too that we don't issue stamp on all these things that many of the youths of today we want to be on stamps, but on the Nigerian stamp, because of our social cultural content, we may not such, but I don't think it's out of place. So please, make the funds available to NIPOs. Design, we had even planned at one time or the other to put Nigerian musicians and so on and so forth on Postage down. But sorry, because of the downward trend in the history of commitment of politics and politicians to what ordinarily to enhance the image of the country, many of these things are just, I wouldn't say mortuary, but they are lying in state. Thank you so
much. Permit me to please recognize Mrs. Tola Kirili. She's in the National Theatre of Nigeria. Good evening, madam. Good evening, where are you, ma'am? Oh, where is she? She stepped out. Okay. Thank you so much. Can you do that in like 30 seconds? Okay, thank you.
So I just wanted to, like I said, when you called me to speak, I knew I was not going to speak. I was going to be like just a member of the audience, BBC, because there's nothing to add to the conversation. So what I want to say is, I was going to do something about how the coffee. I mean, what coffee brand got into Tokyo. So Tokyo are not coffee drinking, they drink tea. But when I'm not sure what, I think it's I'm not sure what brand. But let's say Starbucks for because of flavor. So you're trying to get into Tokyo and they brought their products or the marketing, all that was done, but they're not making sales. They brought up the strategies like how do we sell coffee to tea drinking people? Now what they did is they made coffee candies. They're candy taking people. So people fell in love with the flavor of coffee before coffee. So when they see coffee in the shops, oh, I love this coffee tasting candy. Let me buy coffee. I'm saying this to say that I don't think that stamp can come back as stamp was. I think it's not about how do we bring stamp back and people start sending letters. I don't think it's about letter writing. I think it's about reinventing the culture in which we interact with stamps. So it's not about, oh, let's get the letter writing letter. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to say that I want to. Do you know how much people text on WhatsApp? Even not to me as a person. Do you know how much you text on WhatsApp? How you send your children voice notes? You have to do this. You have to send a letter and it's getting there a few days later. I don't think it's about writing a letter. I think it's about reinventing how stamps are being used or engaged with. So like I said, candy for coffee. So how do we bring back stamps? And I don't think it's the question for, and also, is this thing available to the public? Because if you go on Twitter, you find hundreds of illustrators illustrating ridiculously brilliant things. But do you know that their works can be used in this capacity? Is this information about popular? You can write to people's office and get your stuff featured and produced. Like if I knew, in my days of early starting design as a graphic designer, I would just do like freelance fun projects. I would make a dozen stamps for this thing. If you don't take it, fine. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody else knows has information here. So it's not like I think these are things that like the agency has to do for continuity's sake. Thank you.
It's just a legal issue. Wherever you go today, you have issues with court, you have issues with Ministry of Finance, they tell you stamp duty. I mean, they tell you go and authenticate. They want to see the stamp that authorizes whatever transaction. So it's not even something we can contemplate to debate, but we're just trying to see how best we can spread the need for us to put more attention to the issue of stamps. Then number two, we'll be able to confirm today that stamps are in circulation through my post, that there are still post offices in Nigeria through my post, and the post offices are there for you and I to patronize through my post, and we are sure that Uncle has only 3 teeth. And
Sorry, and Nigerians are writing letters.
Yes, sir. And Nigerians still write letters, and that they can still post their letters through my post. Thank you.
Sorry, see, I think I have one idea.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. You know, I mean, my idea will come to the very. Yeah. I think that this age, we are very good with following a trend. You know that a new trend can actually come up where people go the extra mile. If you want to know that somebody gets to you, they don't just type on WhatsApp as well. You can only type on WhatsApp. But for you to go the extra mile, to write someone a letter should mean something in this age. Because it's some real extra effort. If a girl wants to impress a girl, you will actually have to go 5 hours for her. So you can imagine what it takes for you to write a letter. And then we can actually begin to create stamps that are for this purpose. Yeah, we have stamps already, but that we're also creating a culture where people can actually do much more than just type a message on WhatsApp. Instead of me to have just gone to buy you flour, I've actually sent you a letter. I've handwritten it, which means I went the extra mile and sent it. That's number one. Number two, why can't we have digital stamps? Why can't we have digital stamps? And build something like we have currency today, and build a business model around it. Where you said something about it, I'm sure you were not, you broached it actually, but maybe you were not going further with it. Every Nigerian, and that's an idea we can push and work with you, should have a stamp approved by the Nigerian Postal Service, right? That will bring 100 million stamps to start with. And when a child is born, right, the child will have a stamp signed off by you. That brings you a lot of money. We can work with you and put some resources in the community, right? And we will now go further to work with you to go to the assembly that it is now legal and necessary that when a child is born in Nigeria, that child, we don't know whether that child is going to become the president of the country. That child shall have the stamp. And then we can create a repository that if you want to check if somebody is a true Nigerian, you go to that repository and say the name and you see the stamp of such a person. We can start from there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to say right here that I happen to be the only Nigerian that has had his portrait on the Qatar postal service, more or less on souvenir sheets. We have what we call postal stationaries. It's not only stamps. The stamps we take to post letters. But there are some of these characteristic features of stamps that can be on what is called the souvenir sheet. That one is not for writing letter, but to portray certain images. So I was privileged in 2008 in Switzerland to have my picture engraved on the Qatar souvenir sheet. And in 2012, I had the same opportunity. But when it comes to somebody, in fact, there was a time that we were thinking of allowing personalities of also to have private portraits on postage stamp. But there are certain characteristic features that may militate every child born having a postal stamp or postage stamp issue. The face value, the perforations, and the name of the country. All those ones may militate against having too much stamps in large quantities, because every year, ordinarily, we should have maybe 4 or 5 issues of postage stamps. But since they have made politicians as postmasters general. From 2016 up till today, we have about 4 different postmasters general who are not acquainted with the modus operandi of the post. As a result of that, they will take so many things so trivial because of the money bag nature of average politicians. But like Voltaire said, I'm sure we all are familiar with Voltaire. Yeah. Was one of the early philosophers and was instrumental to the French Revolution. He said, the post is that link connecting all affairs, all negotiations. By its presence, absent becomes present. So if Voltaire, as at that time, could come up with something like that, Herodotus too said neither rain gloom of the night, darkness of the night, can deter the postman from completing their appointed rounds. So the post is for you. You are for the post. Please use the post so you can get that anointing of being a global citizen. Thank you.
I didn't say this right. I am an entrepreneur. I may not be as old as you, but I've learned a lot of things. And the fact that you can, I'm not a philosopher by the way, I'm a 21st century philosopher. I've written every single day for 15 years. Every day. It is called Conversation of Thoughts. I also write in Yoruba. It's called Arojinle Osiapagun. I also have a radio program. I'm a radio editor. So I can tell you this. What you have described is what has happened in the past, and it's still happening today. New things can happen. Every Nigerian child born can have a stamp and create a category for it. We're talking about how to generate revenue. We're talking about if I go to sign, today we sign signatures, right? We all have signatures. My stamp is my signature. I can put it there. You can create, generate new. You're talking about money right now. Sir, don't discountenance that idea. Every Nigerian, and you know what? If you really want to do it, we can work with you. And if you don't do it, let me say this today. If you don't do it, I will take it upon myself and go and do it.
Please do proposal.
Yeah, because it is something that you can do. And let me tell you, it will be a big deal for Nigerians. When your child is born, your child will have a stamp. We create a category for it. And we should work together. And until you try, we don't know where it's going to go. So why not try first and fail? The Nigerian spirit requires that we try many things. Especially when we have the resources in the future. Thank you very much.
We came to this so that our life will be better for tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a stimulating evening, and we want to wrap up this session. And I want to say to you that I have been really blessed. And the window of opportunity is out for all of us to reignite our passion and interest in this great nation called Nigeria, having been part of the history of this country today. Ladies and gentlemen, don't give up on this country. I repeat, do not give up on this country. We have no other way. And America had its history and went on its journey, and we have not done a quarter of the miles America took. So we are just work in progress and we'll be better. So on this note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you to all of you for coming today. Whether this video is grateful to you, CRIMMD is grateful to you, and of course, my friend or my brother will say a big thank you to everybody as a vote of thanks before we move to the next session. Because some people just came, they still want to go around and see what is happening.
All right, thank you very much, sir. And after a very beautiful evening, I just want to say a very big thank you to everyone for making it here today a public holiday where we could have been spending our own private time with our family, where we sacrificed to be here. I want to say a very big thank you to Nadine and all the amazing team at Goethe Institute. To all the partners as well, we say a very big thank you with Ford Foundation at the forefront. Say a very big thank you to CRIMMD Museum and all the amazing team and talents behind the CRIMMD Museum. Thank you very much to the amazing Madam Dr. James, who is outside. Without our support, CRIMMD won't be here to support us. Thank you to everyone that has been today beautiful, to all the people that